Dear colleagues, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, I must say this is a historical event for us here in the ITU. We are the oldest member of the United Nations family, and we are greatly honored today of having the first visit ever of a United Nations Secretary General specially visiting us. So I would like us to really give a round of applause to our Secretary General for the recognition of ICT as one of his priorities. After a very successful World Summit on Information Society, the world leaders have become aware of the importance of ICT. And the ITU is proud of leading our battle to ensure that the world is a better place, that the world is connected, that the cyberspace is a safe place. And I was very pleased to know that our Secretary General has put ICT as one of his 6 priorities. Mr. Secretary General, during our first CEB meeting in March in Montpellier, I have highlighted 3 major priorities for my tenure as Secretary General: bridging the digital divide. This is one important goal that we have set for ourselves for 2015 to meet the Millennium Development Goals. If we don't meet the goals, nobody else will, because ICT is a tool for everyone. I know, Mr. Secretary General, maybe this is the first time we're receiving the visit, this privilege of a United Nations Secretary General, because he is normally very busy in what I call firefighting. But here, I'm pleased to give you good news. According to our statistics in the International Telecommunications Union, by end of 2007, half of the world inhabitants will be connected. This is good news indeed. It's one big step forward, but the challenge is on us to ensure that the other half of the world inhabitants are also connected by 2015. And we are unsure of the support from yourself in fulfilling this mission. The second high priority is cyber security. Unfortunately, since I scared you all during the CEB meeting with all these threats, potential threats in the cyberspace, unfortunately, there have been cyber attacks to some countries already. And we need to ensure that we avoid a cyber war. And the best way to win a war is to avoid it in the first place. The third major priority that I set for our union is emergency communications, disaster prevention, and disaster relief after natural disasters. Those 3 priorities still stand, and I can assure you that the staff here and the ones in the other rooms, because of the size of the staff, we've been divided in many rooms. They are watching you live, and also from the offices, and all 13 regional offices are also watching this event live on a webcast, because indeed we are greatly honored. I would like, therefore, to welcome you one more time and thank you for giving the priority you're giving to ICT. together we will make the world communicate. If we make the world communicate, the world will be a better world. I thank you very much.
Mr. Secretary General, we would like to invite you to say a few words.
Secretary General Hamadoun Touré. And dear colleagues of the ITU, it's a great pleasure to see you this morning. I'm in fact very much touched and moved by all your such a warm welcome. I didn't expect that I would be meeting so many colleagues this morning of ITU. As I've been in my office a little over 6 months, I think I've been making kind of some history everywhere I visited. It is quite natural that since I'm new, you'll be meeting me for the first time, I'm meeting you for the first time. But my joy is that I'm making hundreds and hundreds new friends in our UN family systems. And this is no exception. But there's one exception is that I was told that I'm the first Secretary General to visit this long-standing historic organization. And in that regard, I'm making another history of this organization, and I'm very much pleased. I know that how important organization, how important work you are doing. I was told by my colleague, Director General of Vienna office, that this is the most powerful organization within UN systems. I was just told by Secretary General Touré that you are connecting, I thought you were connecting 6 billion people. Now you've been connecting only 3 billion people. I hope in the very near future you will be connecting 6 billion people all. Without your connection, the whole world will be in the darkness. It may be that we will be living in somewhere in medieval age without communication, without knowing what other people will be doing. In that regard, your role is important in the areas of reaching the Millennium Target Goals, in the area of cyber security, in the area of disaster relief and disaster prevention. I think you are providing all the basic groundwork on the basis of which human society, this international community, can build upon all different areas of our living, starting from politics, economy, culture, sports, and everywhere. So in that regard, I am very much proud, and you should be proud of what you have been doing and you will be doing. Mr. Touré has been very active. He has been demonstrating his leadership. He has vision. Now you are controlling and coordinating with all the private businesses and government businesses. At this time, United Nations regards, we have so many constituencies, particularly business communities and private communities. This is what you will be connecting. I've been talking to our press media people in New York. I regard media as very important to connect United Nations to other parts of the world. Now, I realize today that without you, this connection will not happen. In that regard, I am very much grateful to you, and I hope that while we work together to make this world more prosperous, more secure, more harmonious, and developed through ICT and through these connections, I'm very much committed to support you, and I'm confident that you will also support my duty. Without your connection, I think I'll never be able to do whatever I'm now doing. Now you are again carrying out a very important vision to forthcoming launch of the Connect Africa initiative in October in Rwanda, Kigali. Now this digital divide is very serious. This is a hampering, this is a smooth and balanced development of our international community. We need to try our best efforts as a part of our MDG programs to bridge this gap. When I was working as a chef de cabinet to the President of General Assembly, 56th session of the General Assembly, the one priority goals was bridging this digital divide. And in 2005, I think you hosted this WSIS twice. This was very much 2003 and 2005. This was a very significant, important initiative you have initiated. And I hope that this kind of initiative will continue. And Secretary General Touré has mentioned about this global cybersecurity agenda. I welcome the focus on least developed countries as an element in development efforts. This inclusive approach and engagement with the private sector are very important again. I would like to mention a little bit about my own agenda as a Secretary General. You have your own agenda, connecting the world properly. Now my agenda is to have our House get in order through restructuring, through reforming all our organizations to make a more efficient and effective one. Our organization, whole UN systems, has been playing an instrumental role for development of world peace and security and harmony. But unfortunately, we have been criticized for ineffectiveness, lack of progress, lack of accountability or transparency. I think ITU will face the same challenges. I do hope that as a part of this specialized agency's ongoing reform process under the leadership of Mr. Touré, you will also take on board on this ongoing reform process. Unless we change ourselves, unless we change our working culture, I think people will begin soon talk about the relevance of the United Nations, relevance of the ITU. I know that ITU is very well advanced, very well poised in terms of reforms, but as a whole organization, United Nations, we still need to overcome these negative perceptions that we are still very much accustomed to this inertia or past practices. We need to be able to have a determined will to change whatever has not been received positively. You need to have a very bold and determined will to change your own habit, your own working culture. This is what I have been doing. I have been very much encouraged by strong and broad political support of the member states for what I have been doing. My reform proposals for peacekeeping operations and disarmament and all other areas have been approved by consensus of the General Assembly. And this is just the beginning of my reform. While I have been spending most of my time to address very impending and imminent geopolitical issues like situations in Lebanon, in Darfur, or Iraq, or Afghanistan, and elsewhere. I have not neglected myself to address these reform issues and also address long-term visionary agendas like climate change. I think you will have a great deal. You are one of the very important stakeholders in terms of climate change. With your efforts, you are connecting the world, improving ICT, bridging the digital divide. I think you will be able to contribute significantly to these long-term agendas, which will have serious implications to the future of our humankind. Therefore, I hope that you will have, every one of you has some broader spectrum of your visions. Whatever you are doing, you may feel that this is a small, insignificant sometimes. It may sometimes be very technical or routine. But if these technical and routine things do not continue under your very careful and vigilant management, the whole world will be in chaotic situations. We will not be able to make any progress. This is what I'd like to ask you. Please have a sense of strong ownership. Please have some broader visions of what you are doing. What you are doing will have significant implications and effect to whole range of humankind, of international community. Therefore, I think you should be very proud of yourself. You should be able to have a strong sense of ownership, and you should have some strong sense of, again, commitment for what you are doing. I wish you strong leadership, and I wish you continued success in what you will be doing in the future. And I regard this opportunity of meeting you as a personal pleasure and honor, having visited ITU for the first time as the Secretary General of the United Nations. And you have my full support, and I will always cherish this meeting as a very important memory in my life. Thank you very much, and all the best.